cleansing natural energy made with powerful ingredients from nature. No artificial sweeteners, no sugar crash. Because life's too good for bad energy.
Please do not get in my way. You cannot drive in my lane. Tires is burning the pain. You don't have nothing to say. This is how legends are made. I know I got what it takes. And I'm not pumping the brakes. And I'm not pumping the brakes. I'm too competitive. I like the narrative. I don't know best in the league. Who you comparing with? That isn't competitive. Top of the throne, it is me. How you moving slow when it's speed? I just been bringing the heat. I just been bringing the fire. Bringing the fire. I just been bringing the. And they can't stop me. They know that I'm bringing the. I got the fuel in my veins. Trust me, I'm making a name. We are not one and the same. I am on top of the game. I cut out the line on my brakes, and that's why the drive is insane. Heart of a champ, adrenaline rushes is numbing the pain. I'm too competitive, I like the narrative. I don't know best in the league. Who you comparing with? That isn't competitive. Top of the throne, it is me. How you moving slow when it's speed? I just been bringing the heat. I just been bringing the fire.
Hello and welcome to the Esports Varsity 2025 live here from Confetti X Arena. My name is Oliver Day and I'll be your host and, well, host for this afternoon and this evening once again. So first of all, I'd like to say a massive warm welcome to everybody here, to our in-house audience and our online audience. But first things first, let's get an insight into what this Varsity means to our lecturers, our students, and most of all, our players.
Varsity for the students is really important, especially in Nottingham. Being an esports city, we're one of the most vibrant esports cultures in the UK. Having the opportunity for UoN and NTU to come together to compete, I think is great. We're really into building an esports community across the whole of the city, whether it's just players at the universities or it's the colleges. We've got so many of these different teams and we really want to make a good impression for the whole of UK esports. So it's very exciting for the students and really exciting for us at the university.
To me, Varsity means passion.
Opportunity.
Rivalry.
Competition.
Easy wins.
Excitement.
Derby.
Trash talking.
Kicking off with our Overwatch match in this Varsity. First off, it's time to introduce the players. They're one of the pinnacles of university esports with 65 NSC titles. under their belt. It's the Uni of Nottingham! Starting with nothing! Then it's gonna be your two DPS players, Leicester and Quaino. Your two support players, give it up for Harry and Akami! There he is. Now to introduce their opposition. With 55 NSC titles under their belt. It's the mighty Trent Army. It's Nottingham Trent Uni. Kicking off, we've had PX. Your two DBS players, Icy Gaming Rules and Boom Tao. Your then support players, it's Bard and Lemon. Nottingham, give it up for our two teams! Both sets of players are ready to kick off this Esports Varsity. Now, if the players would like to make their way to their PCs, and I would like to hand over to my lovely casting partner, Elliot, up in the gantry. Take it away.
Thank you, Ollie, who will be joining me in just a moment. Welcome to Esports Varsity Overwatch 2. Let's see how our players are thinking before the match.
I'm Kieran. I'm Brian.
Marcus.
I'm Mateo Fasaya.
My name's Harry.
Probably most Tracer Genji, probably mainly Tracer nowadays.
Definitely Wrecking Ball. I've been accused of being one trick, but it's not true.
It's got to be DPS.
I'm going to be here for playing DPS.
I'm a support main. I'd say tank.
Support.
I think we'll win because we're better.
We should be able to get out on top, I think. I'm pretty confident.
Okay, we've got a mix of Team 1 and Team 2 right now. Should be relatively fine. It'll work out in a day, right?
You've been playing other heroes, luckily.
Yeah, I have been, yeah.
Rather than just Genji Tracer.
Oh, yeah, no. Thank God. But yeah, so, me.
What? What do you mean?
What are you talking about? Like,
What do you mean?
Be for real.
No, it's not. No.
I'm Evie.
My name's Alex.
I'm Finn. Support.
I'm playing DPS.
My favorite role is support.
It'll be a surprise on the day.
I'd like to say a Trent victory, but I think we'll see on the day.
I don't really have a prediction. I think it's just going to be fun playing as like a team.
Zen. Just pure calmness.
I'm excited.
There's definitely some nerves, but I'm excited nonetheless.
A little nerve-wracking playing on the main stage. I think it'll be fun.
I'm not really that nervous. I'm just here to like have fun and fill in for a team.
Another match, really.
A bit of mixed emotions coming in there. Obviously, both sets of players, you know, some of them feeling a little bit nervous, some of them feeling a little bit confident, actually. Pretty nonchalant, pretty chill and relaxed. But Elliot, you know, coming into this, both teams are really, you know, they're strong. You know, they're strong teams.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you have one that takes your fancy so far?
You know, there's always that bias to kind of go for your home team, right? Like, it's your home team. It's the ones that you've grown up around, you could say. But I really think University of Nottingham really have a strong lead here, and I'm very excited to see how they perform, if it's a full sweep or if it's a bit of both, you know.
Obviously, Uni of Notts coming into this, they do have the ranked sort of advantage. Obviously, you know, shout out to Nothing, a GM5 tank player. I mean, we have an absolute legend amongst us here in the crowd, and I'm really looking forward to see the tank matchup specifically because Obviously, Happy X coming into this, a very experienced NSE and null player, you know, sitting at around the Masters mark. So obviously both teams have strong points. I think the DPS lineup for, well, specifically Uni of Knots is really strong as well. Obviously, you know, coming into this, we haven't seen much of them, but I'm really looking forward to see how they perform on the big stage today. We will be heading into game pretty shortly, but I believe the first map is going to be Lijiang Tower, our control map. So a bit of a nice map to start off with.
Yeah. Are there any tanks that you specifically want to see from either side? There's maybe a Ryan coming out? Is that a preference?
I have I have a big bias towards seeing some Ryan. Obviously, I am a massive Ryan enjoyer and Ryan fan and Ryan player, so everything Ryan over here for this guy. But I believe we are heading into game now. So this is it. We're going to kick off the Varsity 2025 on Lijiang Tower in control. Oh yes, I can't wait to see it. Absolutely fantastic. Obviously, both sets of players. This is the time to fall out. You're in a big stage, in front of the lights, in front of your PCs. It's time to perform.
I mean, especially it's kind of unbalanced in their experience. I feel like you got University of Knots, and they've had a ton, at least a stage experience. But you got a lot of people on NTU who, you know, you've seen from that intro that they haven't been here before. This is a first for them on a big stage, so I'm sure a lot of nerves will be going into this.
Absolutely. Now we are going to see a diverse sort of starting composition from both teams. I think that, to be honest, these could be just little spawn hinters. Obviously, we are seeing Frey on both sides, which is absolutely fantastic to see. We love to see a little bit of the new champions in game. We are going to see some sudden swaps. Obviously, Happy X on the reset. And the Symmetra may. Symmetra probably just to get out spawn as quick as possible with the Brig Juno. And we are off here at the Confetti X Arena. University of Nottingham versus Nottingham Trent Uni. A little bit early poke by nothing. Gonna look to try and go for a boost. No, hesitates to back out. They're quick to point Nottingham Trent. They're just going to try and poke from pretty much every angle possible. We're going to see the Lucio spying from the left side and the ball as well. But there is an instant boot by Harry onto Bard. Bard will head off into the void. Lemon falling really low. Will be found by nothing. A good start here by University of Nottingham. Absolutely sensational by Harry. Cleaning up. Getting a first opening boot result. You know, this comp is lethal on this map.
Oh, absolutely. I really wanted to see Ball going into this map. It's such a wondrous sight to see, and picking off that healer early is just essential for University of Nottingham.
Absolutely. We're going to see Hutao switch that Cassidy, you know, a little bit better in terms of trying to pick off that Farah and some of them targets like the Cassidy. But IC Gaming caught out in the middle of nowhere. Will be shut down by nothing. Nothing on fire at the minute. Not letting anyone escape his grasp. Just trying to shut down when and where possible. And you know what? It's another good fight for University of Nottingham. Taking another point. Lemon will get a couple kills in the meantime. We'll find one onto Harry, and Happy X will clean up to find Akami. But to no avail. University of Nottingham still in the lead with 38% to 0%. You know, pretty good performance. Well, from the starting opening scene here.
Absolutely, seeing both Freys almost to their ults.
Ooh, very low. Hutao getting a little bit too eager there, but unfortunately Bard will fall in the meantime. That Brig Shield not able to block them very high damaging Farah projectiles, and oh my goodness, there's just going to be constant cleanup and all the way to the spawn. Not ideal for Nottingham Trent Uni. University of Nottingham ult starting to stack. They're starting to do a little bit of showboating here in front of this very prominent Uni of Knots audience. I mean, why not? They've done really well so far. A nice starting opening scene. We won't see the ults come out a little bit. Not going to find much there. The Freya ult just launched in. But the pressure here, Lester falling really low, but the barrage in the back line will find two. Bard and Hutao cleaned up, and Quay now just cleaning up. Will be shut down though. IC Gaming manages to get a kill. Quite nice actually, but you know they could probably come quickly here. Quayu on fire, but no, it's going to be to no avail. 100% to 0%. Round one heading the way. University of Nottingham. It's a good start for them. Nottingham Trent Uni just need to calm down a little bit. Maybe just try and play a more slower style of game.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they are playing that already, I think. They're trying to act very reserved, very grouped together. You can see, you know, with Sarissa, Pig, Brigitte, but they just keep getting picked off right at the start. Brigitte going down twice at the start of those fights there, and I think that's really essential to University of Nottingham taken down from the inside. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now we are going to see the Orisa mirrored here, the Genji come out. Potentially after the Symmetra TP. HadPX immediately going to switch on to that Zaya. In response, we're going to see Genji coming out as well from University of Nottingham. So, you know, Zaya I think could work really well into that Orisa. Obviously, we know how much these tank matchups go. Zaya pretty much wins it, but the Genji's straight into the back line. And it's just good follow-up, you know, constant pressure by University of Nottingham. Quay Yu in the back line immediately landing a kill. A bit of gamesmanship there. Pretty naughty from nothing, but you know, a good start here for University of Nottingham.
I'm honestly not surprised. Genji's been very oppressive, especially this season, so a swap onto that makes sense.
Bubble comes out, nothing has to back away, falling really, really low. Does have the peel from his team, able to be kept alive. Quay Yu still alive, just spamming as much as possible, but nothing, falls really low. Quay Yu's also really low, but can they follow up? Can they find these picks? No, they can't. Quay Yu still below half health. Looking to try and stay alive, will stay alive. How on earth does he live? Quay Yu in the back line manages to dash through, delivering a little bit of damage, makes it easy for Harry to come in and bonk Icy Gaming on the head with that flail. Nothing goes in, but the ultimate will find one with that, and Quay Yu just cleaning up in the back line. Strong performance.
Absolutely, saw nothing, honestly, more half health, half of that match, half of that fight, sorry. Just complete, like, damage chugged into them, but it's not enough. It really just isn't, and they're just feeding them at least all charge at the end of the day, I think.
Absolutely. Now, we do have the High Noon coming in for Hutao here. Probably just going to look to try and just put pressure, you know, just try and gain some space. But we do have a massive Graviton Surge in the meantime. The Juno Ray going to be popped in reverse, but the blade is there. HadPX manages to find two, but Quay Yu is on fire, cleaning up, manages to find three that fight to secure the win for University of Nottingham. I mean, it's looking pretty dire now in this first map for Nottingham Trent. Obviously their map pick, so, you know, pretty much one of the strong ones out of their hand. Still a couple ults online. We do have that Freya ultimate and the Brigitte rally still available for University of Nottingham. They do have pretty much the same across to Nottingham Trent, but they do have that Juno Ray. We know how strong that ultimate can be. We're not going to find much from it. Both rallies being popped. They're trying to walk forward here. They're potentially low targets on point, but nothing manages to find HadPX. Bard manages to get the enemy. Brigitte, Harry, the Juno Ray being used galore. But look how low nothing is. How is he still alive? Able just to manages to get his fortify up and just stays that overhealth being so clutch. And Quay Yu cleans up to find two, and that's University of Nottingham taking a lead in this series.
I mean, that was just, I don't want to say a clean sweep, but it might have been at least an assisted sweep.
Absolutely, it was a pretty dominant performance by Uni of Knots. You know, they were pretty clean, a lot of just good fights. I mean, Quay Yu in the back line has just been a constant threat. Harry's been unstoppable on that Lucio, and it's looking a bit nervous on the side of NTU. Uni of Knots are just playing with full confidence at the minute, but I'm sure they can pull it back. You know, they are on the stage for a reason. They're clearly capable, fantastic players, but when you're up against an opposition like Uni of Knots, they're just, things start to worry a little bit. You start to shake a little bit more, but you know, looking good. And look at these Uni of Knots fans enjoying themselves. You love to see it. Been really good support from them so far.
Absolutely, it's a really nice, you know, aura in the studio today, especially for the Uni of Knots fans. I'm sure they're not disappointed by
not
the
so
performance
far
here. Trent seemed not like it's a full loss, honestly. They do see very weak into most of these fights, especially with the picks coming out early. You can see on these healers just one after the other. Harry getting that initial boop was just dirty.
This is a very clean boop, and just the follow up there. And Quay Yu on the Farah, just fantastic.
Absolutely. University of Nottingham playing this really, really well. I mean, it's just, as I said, healer taken out the first fight every time, and that is
there needs to be some peel for these supports. Obviously, Kwayu is just, he's got that number, he's ringing them up, he's dialing them up every single fight. He's just there in the backline. I mean, what a fantastic dry Genji Blade, just to say. You know, hard enough to get kills with a dry Genji Blade, and he manages to find 2. So pretty nice.
Yeah, I did see that the Zarya ult came out, and I was like, this could be the turnaround.
It could be. It was a very nice Graviton Surge, but it just won't follow up.
It was looking really good until the Genji ult. The Genji ult goes in the back line, you're done for. There's no support for Happy X there. It's just dominant, I think.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Now, turning our attention to the second game, obviously Hybrid the next map. The loser being NTU, they will pick the side. Well, sorry, they'll pick the map. So, you know, Hybrid, it's a nice mode. It's quite a balanced mode. That, you know, it's a long mode actually, to be honest. I mean, there are aspects where, you know, you can draw on it if things go to the worst. But, you know, I think coming into this, King's Row could be a really good shout here. I'm not just saying that as a Rhine player, but
I think you are just saying that as a Rhine player, actually.
King's Row could be a nice pick for NTU. Obviously, playing with some of the NTU players on stage, I know full well that King's Row is definitely a strong point of theirs, so we'll probably look to head to that.
Yeah.
And the winner of the last side, Uni of Knots, picking the side. So, what do you think they have to change here, NTU?
I think it's just someone has to look after their supports, or maybe a more tougher back line at least, you know. They're just taking out, as I said over and over again, they're taken out first at the start of every single fight. And it's just dirty. It's just gone from there. You know, you lose a DPS, then it's fine. But if you lose a support first, then that is completely gone.
I believe that we do have confirmation on Malga and Anna being banned. So, you know, that kind of changes things a little bit, to be honest. Anna, very, very decent support. Malga, very good engaged style tank. But the important thing, the King's Row being picked, and that's where we'll be heading to now. King's Row, I can't wait to see it. I am actually buzzing. If I see a Hadfix Reinhardt come out of spawn, I'm going to be so, so happy.
Waiting to see that Ryan portrait immediately. I can tell. He's going to have his eyes glued to the screen.
Glued to the screen, indeed. And, you know, I think it could work. That brawl-style composition, you know, it could be the sort of way forward for NTU. You know, typically, well, having played with most of the players on that roster, I usually go for that, and that's what we usually play.
Yeah.
Uni of Knots prefer, clearly, that dive sort of poke-style composition where they're just trying to cause absolute chaos when and where possible.
There it is.
We are seeing a nothing Rhine. I can't wait to see this.
No, but yeah, I think Trent, it seems like this kind of comp that they're running is more towards what they would want, you know. I like the Sojourn pick coming out here. If he's able to get picks off against double sniper, though, is quite dangerous. But of course, he doesn't know that yet. But Sojourn's really good at the moment, I feel. I think she's definitely not a bad pick, especially for King's Row defense.
Absolutely. Now we want to see a bit of scouting with the Widow and Hanzo from spawn for University of Nottingham. I mean, I kind of like the Xayah here. I think the Xayah is good quite defensively. You can, you know, when that Sojourn slides, when she's in a spot above her, you know, you can just get her out with that bubble. But I think into the Rhine, it's going to be pretty tough. The spawn doors are open.
Delaying the game.
And we could see a Rhine charging forward, nothing. Being a bit cheeky, and we will see a slight pause.
Pause?
A little bit cheeky. A cheeky little Rhine pin from spawn. Quick little crouch there, you know, bit of a teabag going on.
Spawn, just hit him with a bit of the small teabag and just get gone, honestly.
Absolutely, but you know, I think I would love to see this Rhine. I think the brawl style composition on King's Row is pretty nice. I think we're just waiting on confirmation, but I think for NTU, they just have to peel for them supports a little bit more, play a little bit more close together. You know, I think they're a little bit stagnated a little bit, and obviously you saw, you know, Kwayu just out of nowhere, just flying in on that Genji, poking from every single angle possible, just able to find and isolate them supports and just eliminate them from the game as quick as possible. So I think that's definitely the play for Nottingham Trent Uni.
Yeah, absolutely. And we will go back to game in a second.
Yep, there we are.
Back in, hopefully, probably seeing the same comp. I doubt any of them were troll picks for the for the fake out, but we'll have a look.
Or have PX onto that Ramatra.
Harry
Very
on the
decent
Mercy.
in the Ryan matchup. Obviously, you know, his damage able to go for Ryan's shield, so Ryan will struggle a little bit.
Yeah, I do think I like Ramatra into Ryan more for Nottingham Trent. It also doesn't, I feel, like break up what they have going that much. Harry on the Mercy though, how are you thinking about a Mercy play from University of Nottingham?
Very intriguing. I'm not a fan of Mercy, if I'm honest. Usually in my ranked games I get quite tilted if someone picks Mercy, but you know, the possibility is there for the damage boost onto that Widow or that Hanzo if they are going to stick with them. And why not? Why not?
Why not?
A res is quite useful. Here we go. YU from spawn. Goes for a headshot.
Yeah.
Backs away. Will probably swap. There we go. We will see it. But Luster, what a shot. Hutao going down from the get-go.
Exactly what I was
Absolutely
afraid
lethal on that Hanzo. Headshot kill as well. Very, very nice play. But HadPX in the meantime will fall, and it's going to be looking like University of Nottingham will just clean up and swoop through, taking that point. Cheeky little Ryan pin to gain a little bit more space. Yeah, that will be University of Notts taking a very, very quick point into this game.
Very much what I was afraid of, that initial pick onto that Freya, and a pause again.
Another pause again. But you know, it's one of them. It's Overwatch, it's UK land.
Yeah, but
it was a good start, good fight for them.
Oh, absolutely. I was expecting that initial pick onto Freya. In the start of the fight, you know, it's not a decent play against, I think. I think it's the pick ability is way too strong for University of Nottingham in that sense.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. Obviously, we just saw Yu on that Hanzo just clean up an opening pick, and then a second and third. Very, very good play all around. I believe we will be having a bit of a tech issue, but that's fine. We will just continue to keep you entertained. We are having a little bit of a discussion now. I think that we need to about Yu coming into this. A Masters 2 DPS. It's caught us by surprise. We haven't really seen much of them.
No.
But what a player.
I mean,
you know, pick after pick, kill after kill, on a wide variety of champs, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, clearly leans towards more that projectile kind of DPS with the Pharah, with the Genji, with the Hanzo. You know, can be very useful into this team, and now we can see why. I mean, Uni of Notts, a very, very good first map performance. They're clearly carrying it on. They've got a lot of momentum behind them. The fans are with them in voice. I mean, to be honest, do you just keep going here if you're Uni of Notts? Do you really need to change anything?
Yeah, I think they're playing their cards right straight, and as they should. You know, it's all working out for them. Yu is a very interesting, because I mean, one of the things that I always stand for when I play any video game is learn everything. Learn as wide as a game you can, because being able to immediately adjust and then be able to go and get that and catch them off guard, especially in Overwatch, is very important. And I'm not surprised by that Master 2 ranking there. You know, we've seen immediate dive after dive on that Genji, and then playing on that Pharah was also very strong as well.
Absolutely. I think it's a bit of a tough blow for NTU to start off with, but I think that, you know, it's not something they can't bounce back from. They are talented players. I've seen it firsthand. That's why they're on the stage. But you know, what specifically would you change about the way they're playing to sort of bring them back into this game?
I think they have to play their cards. I think playing more of a reserved, almost like brawlish comp would benefit them more. They're going for the Sojourn pick is good, but it had to play off angle.
Ryan, yes, love to see it, love to see it. We love a bit of Ryan.
Got some fellow Ryan fans in the audience that can see that. And why not, honestly? Ryan is so fun to watch, I think.
He is the best hero in the game, and I will die on that hill.
No bias, no bias. Truly.
Take me back to the good old days of Overwatch 1, where Goats was every single game. But let's see a couple of replays. In the meantime, look at just Quayu there. A nice barrage, catching the back line. But there's a good pile driver here from nothing, just setting up the play for his team. And I must say, it was just so clean. It was effortless. It happened so fast as well.
Yeah.
Okay, I believe we do have confirmation of what the issue is. It's just something to do with game audio, which is nothing we cannot handle here at Confetti X. But Happy X, you know, a bit of a momentum there, does manage to get 2 kills. A nice, like you said earlier on, it was a nice graviton surge, but there just weren't much they could really do with it.
Yeah, I think I want to shout out Harry here, like kind of an unspoken hero of, or at least both did support, very unspoken. They were able to hold, especially Nothing, who was taking so much damage, especially on that second point, Lee Jong, and they were just able to power through it, just completely hold, even when all of their teammates were alive. There were no picks. It was just complete composure, really.
Absolutely. I mean, coming into this, I think there's a lot of pressure. There is a lot of pressure, and I think eventually that gets through to you. And when you 1-0 down, that really heightens. I think, you know, I'm sure I've certainly been there. I'm sure you've been there as well. It's trying to come back in moments like this really truly defines what an esports athlete is. And that's why we love esports so much, is because the pressure that you have to deal with is just immense. And the competition is such a high standard and caliber that in moments like this you need them players to just shine through and just be that shining light, be that tunnel of hope and light, and I think that's what NTU needs, and I think that could come through Happy X. I think he's really definitely a leader for NTU, so it's just about getting them, you know, all in sort of the same mindset.
Yes, of course. In the same brain space. I mean, I think, especially when you're losing, it's very easy to kind of go, like in your brain, without even noticing, kind of go, well, this isn't working, GG, you know. But a lot of the time, at least in my experience, it's just the composition. Someone might be playing a bit too aggressive, and you can play more reserved, and then it goes from a change of completely losing to completely winning in the best cases. And I especially think that we could see that from Trent here, you know. I do think they could play a bit more, maybe reserved, more brawlish, rather than trying to go for maybe picks as much as they have. But again, that support line is really strong for University of Nottingham, and we are back in the game, thank God.
Absolutely. Now we are going to see Nothing taking a pretty aggressive stance there. Will be poked back into that corner. Falling very, very low. Quayu and Icy Gaming will find Harry in the middle of no man's land, and there we go. NTU getting kills on the board. Managing to find 2 there. Nothing just stepped up a little bit too much there, and Harry going down. What a pick from Icy Gaming. That's a bit of momentum. That's a bit of confidence they need to get back into this.
Yeah, I think Quayu got really low there, and Harry had to play kind of off position to try and heal him.
We are hearing the mighty Trent army giving a bit of support for their players.
Absolutely. These are matches here are just immensely
Nothing. Walking in, falling a bit low, will be healed back up. Really good heal there. The Immortality Field being used, but there we go. Happy X and Icy Gaming back in it, just cleaning up when and where possible. This Rhine is struggling to step forward, and a good fight there for NTU.
I mean, yeah, as I said, just needs a bit of a second to regroup, to rethink, to change the mindset, to get back into changing it from an immediate down to an immediate up.
Absolutely. Now they are stacking gold. University of Nottingham 4 nearly on the board. That Rhine is close to that Earthshadow. He falls really low again. Nothing. Needs to be really careful how he times his engages. The Rematch roll is there. Nemesis form is used. Trying to break that down. That Immortality. Happy X is on fire in the back line. Managing to find kill after kill after kill. And NTU They're pulling this back.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is just great cinema, you could say. I don't think nothing has that kind of enough health to survive what Trent is throwing at them in that start. So the switch onto Orisa makes a lot of sense here. It's a lot more words.
Absolutely, and we will find Akami finding Hu Tao. Hu Tao just overextending a little bit. The early barrage, not going to find much. Koyu has to be really careful. Falling a little bit low there, but look at the space that's been afforded to Luster. Will get a couple shots away, not going to find much.
Trent have definitely played this right here, just kind of backing off, just like we shouldn't overpush.
It's a big Dragon Strike for the wall. Lemon will be found. Luster, good play there. Nothing going to keep steamrolling into that backline. Will find Bard in the process. You've not starting to get a firm grasp on things once again.
That's just not Trent trying to fall back, but you know, you see this Luster trying to get some picks here early fight, and
yeah, I think the Orisa swap has just really changed the face of this game. Obviously, Ramacha swung a little bit less into that Orisa. We don't see the Freya ultimate come down. Nothing falling really low, but they will concede the point in the meantime. That will be the second objective cap. Had PX, does find Harry in the meantime, but Luster and Yu are on fire, finding kill after kill. They need to find a solution to these DPS because they are just on fire at the minute. They've just got so much space afforded to them.
Yeah, I think this switch onto Orisa was, you know, extremely essential for their kind of dominance in the second point going to third. I guess we're going to see they've got a lot of ults going into this, at least.
They do indeed. They have the Orisa ultimate, the Hanzo Dragon Strike, and the Juno Ray in their bank. But there will be an early Hanzo Strike. Nothing falling really, really low. They will trade two supports. A Akami for Bard, Lemon for Harry, and to be honest, Happy X does find Akami. It's trades galore. Hu Tao still alive, but Luster lives and finds Hu Tao, but could go down here. Lemon still alive, manages to get the kill. The flail from Bard, from Spawn. Luster shut down, and NTU, they do use a lot, but they are still in this. 3 minutes on the board till that last point.
UoN saved their Orisa ult here, and I think that's the right play. I don't think that would have won them the fight even. But yeah, Trent is only going into this with Bermuda ult and really nothing else.
Not ideal, especially when that Orisa could just grab more. Kuyao just does have the barrage. In the meantime, Happy X finding nothing. Luster finding Hu Tao. The Brig Rally being used. It's going to be a game of ultimate. I think they're just going to go for it here. Uni of Nottingham. Yeah. They're just going to combine that Farah barrage with the Orisa ultimate, and it's going to be pretty hard for NTU. And there it is. It's an early ultimate once again, and it does so much damage. They're falling pretty low here, NTU. They are still alive. Look, Kuyao is looking for that barrage, but the beat is there to keep nothing alive. And the follow-up is swooped through, managing to clean 2-3 up with that barrage. And that will be Uni of Knots taking that third final point with 2 minutes left on the board. To be honest, that's not bad. That is a good, healthy push, but it's, you know, it's not so long that Nottingham Trent are completely out of it in the second round. They can come back. You know, a minute 55 is doable. You can beat that time.
Absolutely. I mean, you're seeing Trent holding on quite well, even after the Orisa swap. We're seeing kind of that pressure, and I think the ultimates were just a bit lopsided. You could say they had Orisa far going into that last fight, and that was the decider. They didn't have Juno ult to maybe counter or survive the damage.
Absolutely. I mean, I think there was a lot better performance by NTU there. You know, they were more aggressive, they were more clinical in them fights, getting picks, which is vital, especially if you're a DPS player. You need to find them picks to just open up the space and allow your team to rush through.
I do think Trent played that last fight decently well, even though it was really down for them. I mean, they were going wild against 2 or 3, I believe. But they tried to survive. You saw Happy X almost surviving, almost getting out of that Orisa ult when it was popped, and I think that was extremely correctly played for them.
Now we are going to see the Ryan coming again near that wall. A Ryan famous tactic. Oh, there he is. He's in the cinema. Probably going to look for a cheeky pin from Spawn. I very much approve of this play. The bumper style Ryan lives. It lives on in Overwatch 2. And Quayu going to be sticking onto that far out. Oh, Hutao taking a bit of early damage. I just don't think they recognize he's there. Oh, he's looking for it. Nothing. In the back line. Does spin onto AdVX. Manages to find the kill and secure it for Quayu. I mean, good play there.
Truly classic play.
Just clinical play by Nothing.
They don't have a Ryan. They have a Ryan.
Very, very nice cheeky play. Very cheeky that is. But you know they do have the Moira to just keep him sustained. You know Moira very, very good at fading in and out of fights. And we are going to see Happy X onto his famous Junker Queen, his favorite character in the game. But Luster in the meantime finds Icy Gaming with the Storm Arrow. Gonna find two. Hutao looking pretty scared at the minute. Luster is just on fire, finding targets left, right, and center. Nothing gonna clean him and find Happy X.
Very big fan myself of this Junker Queen. Maybe not into the comp that they're running, but Junker Queen is very good at least displacing Ryan. Oh, they're gonna spot Nothing early, not able to get that initial pin straight out spawn.
Indeed, he is close to his Earth Shatter, so they're gonna have to watch out for it. But Luster is on fire. Hutao just being found a lot by Luster. And this is where you don't want to be when there's nothing on Ryan. In the tight corridors, this is what he absolutely lives for.
Happy X currently backing off with Hutao down, not able to contest the Farah here. I mean, it's a really hard push.
It is a hard push indeed. Cheeky heroic emote used by Nothing. I'm not sure they know he's there. No, they do. Happy X is smart. They are just going to rush it in. And the Earth Shatter comes down, does find one, but it's going to be punished. Icy Gaming following up. Hutao manages to get the kill onto Harry. Meanwhile, Quayu manages to find the kill onto Bard. Happy X clean not finding Luster. And that could be...
I think we're seeing a huge ult.
Oh, they need to be careful. Quayu is still alive, does have the barrage. Will go forward. Almost pops it actually. Lemon manages to find the kill just in time.
Nothing trying to come back and contest point here. I think he probably has the power.
He has to give it up, and that will be NTU capping the point. One down so far, two more to go. Uni of Knots, nearly 4 ultimates online, so they're just going to keep and try and use as little as possible to just drag out this defense. But Nothing marching forward in no man's land, very, very low. Will go down to a Lemon Torpedo, but Luster in the meantime finding two. Bard and Happy X going down. Hutao managing to find a Kami. But Icy Gaming does find a kill onto Luster. They're still alive here, NTU. They will keep pushing. Uni of Knots have to back away, but Harry somehow finding Lemon.
Trent early.
Trades galore. Absolutely trades galore.
I really like this play from Trent here. They're definitely punishing that push. Lemon ending up going down, which is kind of unfortunate. But
still alive, just being a nuisance. Just unpunished in these spaces. Oh. Very, very close to falling there. But meanwhile, Nothing is marching forward. The barrage is there. Happy X will go down. Falling really, really low. Quayu will back away. Hutao does find Nothing. They do have the bomb there, but they're just going to try and hide around this corner. Uni of Knots. Quayu going down to the bomb. Tries to fly away, but will be caught. And that will be the raid coming down as well for Nottingham Trent, and they will continue to push.
I do like this position for Nottingham Trent. They didn't use as many ults as I thought they might have to win that fight there. They only used Juno and Ash, trying to push out Bob at the last moment to get some extra damage. And you see, going into the next fight, they're probably better positioned, I think.
Absolutely, we're going to see Quayu swap onto the Mei, so in these brawl-style situations, the pin onto Happy X, it's a nice pin, so the Brave Rally's there, it's a nice Junker Queen, and it will cause that Rhine to die, the bleed from the dagger is there, Nothing will fall down, Happy X leading the charge for NTU, still Luster lives, but will go down actually, Bard in time, but Quayu does find the kill onto Happy X, that Mei just able to stay alive, in the meantime, Icy Gaming Rules does find Okami, that Mei still alive, still stalling. Just wasting so much time, but will fall down eventually. And NTU gonna keep on plodding on.
Nothing pinning Happy X instead of Bob there, I think is really essential to Trent's just
Nothing knows. Nothing knows. The Happy X isn't there yet. Will look to try and drop the shadow, but will take a dart to the face.
Icy getting
will be healed up, but Luster will find Icy Gaming rolls the pin in. From Nothing falling low, inting Reinhardt in the chat we do. And Luster will find Hutao in the meantime. But we are going to see Luster falling really low. Bard staying alive, but what a main freeze. Quay U turning the fight for University of Nottingham, and they will continue to steam on forward and just find kills.
Bard is barely surviving these fights a lot of the time. I mean, had that mail not come out, we definitely would have seen an immediate passing of Trent, but he is playing very well into this, I think.
Absolutely. Oh, Nothing. Being very cheeky, trying to escape, could potentially be found. That Ryan is there in that top corner. I'm not sure if they know he's there. Happy X is really far forward compared to the rest of his team. They do know he's there, and Happy X will be pinned. The Earthshot is there, that's it onto Happy X, but will be shut down. It's good peel by NTU, and he will continue to follow up as Happy X will find Luster. Hutao cleaning up to find Quay U, and NTU taking no nonsense.
Bard, you mad
player. Bard just lethal on this Brigitte. You know, with that flail, just bonking anyone and everyone in their path. Nothing here on the ball to stall for the OT, but will immediately go down. The Juno rate is forced quite early, so there is a bit of hope there for University of Notts, but they will secure this second point. NTU, now they need to be careful here. They need to keep on pushing.
Yeah.
You know, if they do fall below that 10 seconds, then they will not be smart. They will not be granted that extra minute, allowing them to push, and they will be pretty much forced to defend one tick on the next point. So this is going to be pretty dire. We are going to see Luster finding Hutao, the rally being used. We are going to see Ramacha come out though. The huge Ramacha fall, they are just falling in their path. But meanwhile, the excellent peel and support from University of Notts, able to keep Luster alive as he burns down HadPX. And he's able to follow up and find kills. Oh my goodness.
It's too much, You don't need to continue going.
It's saucy headshot after saucy headshot. The Zarya coming out from HadPX into that Orisa.
Definitely more of a preferred pick, I think. Nothing in playing on this Orisa. You know, you might prefer the Rhine more, but I think it is definitely a better play for them to play
It is a definite better play. And Akami with the torpedoes finds Icy Game. They're just going to take this fight quick and fast. The Coalescence and Hands Strike being used, which will find one. HadPX going down. Quay U finding Bard.
They're going to try and
10 seconds left. They are just going to try and use that May Freeze from spawn. Not even going to let NTU have a chance to make it to spawn. But the bomb is sent. Good play. Icy Game will find Luster. The bomb is on point. The May Freeze being used. The bomb is still alive, but Icy Gaming rules, turning this fight around. Does find two, but it's not going to be enough as Quay U is still alive. Nothing is still alive, and they're going to swoop through and take a quick 2-0 lead in this series. NTU just falling a little bit short at the end there, but a better performance from them.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, that last fight, even though University were up slightly with their ults, they were definitely better positioned, I think, going into the last fight. The Orisa is definitely a better pick, even though, you know, you kind of want to play Ryan sometimes. It's not a terrible pick, but you just saw Bard blocking that shatter was just really damaging to their ult meta, and I think that Orisa switch last moment was extremely correctly positioned.
It was a very, very good performance once again from Uni of Notts, but it's better from NTU. Hadley being a real key player in that moment, just leading the charge, you know. Some of them ultimates from the Junker Queen ults, just been fantastic. Able to isolate Nothing when he's getting a bit too overconfident, a bit too eager. We all do it as Rhine players, you know, it's in the DNA, but, you know, HadPX definitely a leading light for NTU, and it was a lot better of a performance from them.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, we're talking first point about the fact that their Bard getting picked off early, Bard and Lemon picked off early every fight, and that was really damaging. But you can see exactly what happens when they stay alive. Bard was the leading point and leading turnaround for a lot of that fight, and had HadPX not died in that last fight through the Brigitte ult, I think it would have gone completely differently for Nottingham Trent.
Absolutely. Let's have a look at some of them replays in that jam-packed Kings Row match. Lot to discuss. Obviously, you know. Oh, we are currently waiting for them replays, but it's, you know, there was a lot in that fight. You know, from the start to finish, it was, you know, Union Knots taking a really good early start. You know, 5 minutes on the board, but NTU just slowed them down during that second point, and that's good. That's exactly what you want. I think the defense favoring NTU just a little bit better.
Absolutely. You're seeing, I think, lack of a better word, I think University of Nottingham getting a bit cocky sometimes, you know, pushing in, especially into their spawn. They almost lost the point when they pushed way too far in, but Quayo were able to get that back with the ult. Quayo performing very solidly here. I mean, absolutely no upset, at least in my mind. There's no major misplays. The May on the last point, very essential to just holding that, playing more reserved on that defense as you should, I think.
Absolutely, and you know, just what a player Quayo is. You know, just it's such a joy to watch. Like headshot after headshot. Like it's just an unbelievable accuracy at that level is just unbelievable. And let's have a look at them Quayo highlights. Yes, please. I want to see that Sonic Arrow headshot once again. It was absolutely fantastic. But to be honest, this was one of the fights where HappyX, he led that charge. Yeah. You know, a nice roll into the spawn, and he just got a kill. That killed a lot of time.
Yeah, the big turnarounds, especially for Trent going into this, but Luster are just so dominant on that Hanzo, and Quayo holding the back up with the far, just not able to let Trent push too far into them. I think it's very smart. But you can see Trent just sometimes not able
we
to
didn't
help.
see that, the boop from Quayo onto Hu Tao.
Oh, and
it's just like there are some, it's so 50-50, you know, during this last point. We obviously saw picks coming from both sides, especially this fight here. The opening, 2 supports are down. Next thing, 2 supports for UoN are down, but they somehow flip it, and it's just, what on earth? Quayo on the attack, on that barrage, just fantastic. You know, barrage finding 2, and this pin from HappyX, well, sorry, onto HappyX from nothing was just clinical.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Trying to go again. Oh, you can see this back, just hiding Quayo, and then able to get their, almost get their ult off. Not quite losing it. I think had they ulted there, it would have gone very differently. I mean, at least I hear the ult line going out, but honestly, between these two teams, I would not be disappointed by either performance here. Both extremely well in different ways. And this nail.
Yeah, it was such a clutch play from Quayo, you know. Just manages to stop the NTU attack. This shadow was quite nice, but unfortunately it was just no peel from UoN to help out there. But nothing definitely has my absolute 110% respect for them flashy Ryan plays. But Luster, it's just, what a shot.
Very nice.
A very clean shot from Luster. Very nice play all around. I mean, just the DPS duos just work so well for Uni of Knots.
Yeah.
And they've just got such good synergy. You know, they know when to be, they know what champs to each other play, and they're just, it's just been a nice watch. Absolutely.
Yeah, really nice. I mean, they're just all solid all around. I think they understand both what each one of them wants to do, and even when they sometimes overextend, you can kind of see Quayo kind of being like, okay, they've overextended, but we can bring this back. We have that defense to just immediately catch them off guard, and you can see that on the when they altered the backline straight from their spawn. I mean, getting a lot of value of just stalling, really.
Yeah, and you know that's typically the aim of the game in, you know, modes like Escort and Hybrid. You've just got to slow the game down as much as possible. Now moving our attention onto Game 3, Flashpoint. You know, it's a very quick mode, very difficult to slow things down. So I think this could potentially suit NTU a little bit better. But you know, Flashpoint maps are quite open. There's you know, maps like Suravasa and New Junk City, it's just, it can be quite lethal for teams. I just prefer that brawly style, you know. Suravasa, it works a little bit better.
Very much looking forward to that map 3.
Absolutely, and we will be seeing that map 3 after a quick little break, so stay with us, we'll be back shortly.
cleansing natural energy made with powerful ingredients from nature. No artificial sweeteners, no sugar crash. Because life's too good for bad energy.
Hello and welcome back to the Esports Varsity 2025. You find us in the middle of our Overwatch series. Current score stands Uni of Nottingham 2, NTU 0. Now, moving on to our, the third map of this series. If NTU win this, then it could prolong the series. But if Uni of Nots don't, then if Uni of Nots does, then this series is sealed and done. Yeah, they are the UoN supporters. They've been loud and noisy all game. But absolutely, I mean, so coming into this flashpoint, Elliot, what are our thoughts on Saravasa being the map? So how do you think that this sort of changes how a team plays?
I really like. I may not know it's the best pick, but I really do want to see a Junker Queen into here. Flashpoint is famously very good for Junker Queen, who can make very quick rotates and repositions, and especially plays decently well into Ryan if they do end up picking Ryan again here. But
I think we've seen the last of our Ryan. I don't think we'll ever see any more. But obviously the Wrecking Ball ban and the Freya ban, I mean, Wrecking Ball just on any Flashpoint map, I think is quite nice. So I think that taking that away from nothing sort of changes things. Will he play that Diva or that Winston instead of the Wrecking Ball in order to go for a bit of a divier composition?
Mm-hmm.
But we will see as we are gonna head into our third map of our series. Come on, let's see both teams play for this. NTU versus Uni of Nottingham. Once again, 2-0 to Uni of Nots as it stands. Nottingham Trent 0. It's a lot better performance by NTU in the last game, so let's see if they can carry it over.
I'm very super excited about this game. It has been close, honestly. Like, saying 2-0, I feel like doesn't bring it justice. It's more like a 1.5 to a 0.5,
I'm liking this composition by NTU. It's a divier kind of composition.
Winston, how's it hanging?
And nothing on the Doomfist. I can't wait to see this. With the Junkrat as well, the Junkrat's throwing me off just a little bit.
The Junkrat makes sense into here. I think it's not the best pick at least at this point in time, but Doomfist and just a bait and switch.
I knew it was going to be a bit of a bait because Junkrat doesn't really work well into Doomfist dive, but had PX on the Winston.
Double Tracer makes very sense for Flashpoint.
Tracer Genji, such a strong DPS line.
Well, they know it's Winston.
They do indeed. And they know what's on the line here, NTU. And we do have a quick little pause. Why not? It's Overwatch.
Popping in just to say hi, then just getting out there once again from nothing.
From nothing. But, I mean, it's a very interesting start to the game. We do have just a slight hand of issue, but we will resolve it pretty quickly. It's just something to do with the game settings, but that is no biggie.
Thoughts on Tracer v Tracer here?
Tracer v Tracer, this all comes down to marking. So if your Tracer is good at marking the opponent's Tracer, then they are pretty much out the game.
Absolutely, a very interesting matchup. I think there's not a lot of movement for error, especially Tracer v Tracer, because if you're caught out on the wrong angle, you're just kind of not doing much for a bit. I think at least. So it'll be interesting to see this kind of pressure going into it. Winston is I'm very looking forward to the Winston.
Absolutely. I think we are going to see, we just saw a couple signs potentially saying Akami is the GOAT.
Got some hellos to probably people in the Twitch
fans and chats. But these, to be honest, these supporters have been fantastic actually. Thank you so much for coming. It's been some of the signs have been hilarious, and just some of the chants as well have been fantastic. Cheering on.
Really the right kind of atmosphere you kind of want in the studio here at Confetti X. How any kind of ideas of how they'll kind of play going into this?
I think obviously the DPS, it comes heavily down to DPS. You know, dive into dive, it's more who makes the first move. You have to calculate it. While you're going to be diving, the opponent's going to be diving your backline. So it's just one of them things about who moves the quickest, who moves, you know, the best, more coordinated. So just really, it just comes down to team synergy and coordination, which for Uni of Nottingham, I think that shouldn't be an issue coming into this. They have just been fantastic. The chemistry is on board. It's really how NTU sort of plays around this dive composition. I think that, you know, the Kiri is a nice pick. I think the Moira is, I wouldn't particularly go with the Moira. I think either Lucio is probably the better out of the two. Moira's good at fading in and out, and you know, she offers a great amounts of healing, and damage as well, let's not forget. But
Moira does have that great repositioning potential and just being a constant heal, but I do think there are better picks for that kind of competition, at least. So we'll see going into it.
We'll see. You know, there's one particular Moira player that I know that absolutely loves Moira and will just play. Her name's Alzir. She's just fantastic at Moira and a huge Moira advocate. So
giving free shout-outs?
Yes, a huge shout-out. So, you know, let's see how this Moira fares up. I think, you know, Bard, they played really well in that Brigitte actually
absolutely.
On King's Row. So let's see if they can carry that on and over.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the Ana being unbanned because the current bans as it stand are Freya and Hammond. Hammond being Wrecking Ball. So
nothing switching to the Hazard.
Okay, I kind of like this. The Hazard, you know, I think a strong hero at this current time.
Just a bait and switch. Straight
again.
back to Doom.
Always again. But Doomfist, you know, just good.
I do
he gets his combos off, he's just unbelievable. He's so good at just traversing around the map.
Absolutely. I do like this Ana and Kiri with the Doom though. I think that's a very good combo to try and give him the poke damage he kind of needs and engage for sure. Especially
Quay using the backline with Harry, just trying to poke from all angles. NTU onto point. Nothing's there to contest, but they will get the cap, and it's a good start play, and Hutao will find Lister, and nothing gonna continue in the backline. Does find Lemon. Hutao cleaning up, finding Akami in the meantime, but there is a bit of a flip, but it's good play from NTU. A very, very nice start to this first point. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Such good synergy there.
I mean, I think Moira, you know, into this, we were kind of hating on it before, but Moira into this Doom, at least, switching now to Winston, makes a lot of sense, I think. They're able to not be dived anywhere near as well as others.
I mean, I'm going to see a pretty good commitment to the full dive. Obviously, Lucio and Kiriko and that Winston coming in for nothing. So, they are going to just try and play as aggressive as possible. And there it's going to be. Had PX going down, nothing. Just steamrolling in. Quay Yu just going to find Bard in the backline, just going to continue. Does have the pulse bomb available, but probably not going to look to use it as they clean up. A nice fight for University of Notts. Harry just in these fights on this Lucio is just lethal.
Absolutely, playing more brawly that engage, you know, is the first fight they kind of going for picks, trying to get, you know, a pick, especially playing Doom, but not really able to get any value, but this brawl kind of playstyle is definitely proving to be a lot better for them.
Oh, Quay Yu is just running in, trying to mark each tracer. Obviously both tracers. Oh, very low, manages to get the clip. Beautiful from Quay Yu. Oh my goodness. Runs out of ammo, finishes it off with a melee. Beautiful. And Harry finding two once again. Good play from Quay Yu there, showing how Tracer can just be a fiend, an absolute fiend in the backline.
Very close for both Tracers in that regard, I think. They are going to try and touch.
Oh, the pulse bomb bites too! Quay Yu! Unbelievable! Yeah. So clean on the DPS. Just any DPS they play, it's just a top tier performance. And that was one ultimate that won the fight. Look how clean it is for University of Notts. They have 4 coming online here for the next, well, potentially 2 points. So it's looking a bit shaky for Nottingham Trent. They need to get a good foothold. But oh no, Icy Gaming Rules would just be chased by Harry across the map. No escape from this Reddit Lucio.
Yeah.
But he can't escape. HadPX finds Harry. Now this could be an opportunity going forward for NTU. HadPX dives in half health, but will force out Ikiriko, Kisone Rush. Lemon finds Quayu. Good aiming and tracking there. Both primer ranges being popped. Both blades being popped. And it's going to be a bit of a struggle for Icy Gaming to try and live. Being chased by the Winston. Some are still alive, but will go down. The beat's being used by Harry. Nothing doesn't get any glimpse of it, though. How is HadPX still alive? The Coalescence, a good time Coalescence, but Quayu's there to clean up. Nothing does go down. Bard finding 2 with the Coalescence. They need to try and eliminate this trace upon the fight. Somehow Quayu's still alive. And the pulse bomb's there, finds 2! Utal runs into Lemon, no Kiriko. Suzu there to cleanse. And this is looking pretty dire for NTU after committing so much. And the full force of University of Notts is back to flip that point over. HadPX back on the Joker Queen. Fine. Luster overextending, but what a bizarre fight, ladies and gentlemen.
Really. I wasn't sure which way I was going to go for a lot of that. I think it was kind of not in the best interest of University of Nottingham to go in as much as they did, because they didn't have point. Trent had point all through that.
Now they do have 49% on the cap percentage, but this fight will just slowly be won by University of Notts, trying to drag out as many kills as possible. Like, there we go, a little bit of staggering going on. And well done, Uni of Notts, just such clean play, you know what I mean? 60% on the board so far for Uni of Notts. They only need 1 point as it stands left to cap this.
We are probably going to see a similar full ball ultimate fight coming to the end of this.
Committing in, will be a little bit split, but unfortunately Hu Tao does go down in the meantime. Harry finding, just going in onto that backline as if he's some form of Genji on that Lucio, and he will clean up, finding 2. Potential flip here, trying to back cap, but it's going to be to no avail as UD of Notts clean up, and they're 1 away here, UD of Notts, from taking this Varsity Overwatch win, 2-0.
I mean, I do admire the confidence to play Genji into this dominant Winston versus Genji again.
Oh, Hu Tao going down, Luster on fire.
You can't be out of position like that. I mean,
the NTU fans just trying to make light of this dark situation, but Luster finding Lemon. Harry is all over the place, fighting anyone and everyone he can kill, but HadPX does find him in the meantime. The blade's there. Good follow-up by Nothing. Does manage to find 1. Luster cleaning up, finding potentially just 1, but that will go down. HadPX managing to get him with that last swipe, but that will be cap heading over to University of Nottingham. Percentage ticking up. Still in this NTU. The hog switch from HadPX potentially could be a bit of a desperate attempt to just try and grab a hold of that Tracer, who's just being such a nuisance. Quayu just being poking from all different angles, just putting the supports of NTU under so much pressure.
Yeah, I do like this.
Quayu falling really low, does force the Coalescence. Kisone Rush being used, but escapes. Oh my goodness, the mechanics of this man knows no bounds. And Luster gonna find Lemon after diving in the backline. Look at the positioning here from University of Notts. They just rotated round into the backline of NTU. NTU can do nothing about it. 54% for Uni of Notts, ticking up. They only need 99. It's looking pretty dire.
Really dire. I mean, you've got 2 ults into 0, basically. You've got this hog ult coming soon, but I don't think it's going to be any candle against the flame for Nothing's primal.
Indeed, they do have the Pulse Bomb and Primal Rage right in the hands of Nothing. It's been a Primal Blade. But HadPX finds Harry. They will probably look to fuse this Primal Rage now, just to try and somehow find a way to win this fight. The pulse bomb to no avail, does find one. Good juggling, find nothing, manages to find Bard. Bard just going down a little bit too early there for NTU, and the Hoggle's going to be used, but Luster's back and will find Hu Tao. Luster's going to clean up and find another onto Lemon, and it's going to be Uni of Nottingham taking the Overwatch Varsity win. Huge applause and cheers from the fans in the arena. A good solid performance by University of Notts, putting on a bit of a show for everyone, and credit where credit's due. Fantastic.
Absolutely. Just both teams really good playing from both of them, especially Trent. I mean, although it was 3-0 in the end, I don't think 3-0 really talks the volumes of that fight that Trent were able to put up against University of Nottingham.
It's been such a good Overwatch Varsity, you know, like, some of the players have just been fantastic. I mean, if you were to give this, you know, any player an MVP, who would you like to shout out?
I think Quayu. I think it would have to be Quayu.
I think honourable mentions to the whole Uni of Notts roster.
Oh, absolutely.
But Quayu's just been such a standout player for me, just constantly turning the face of every single fight. You know, we saw it with the May freezes, we saw it with the Tracer pulse bombs. It's just been so clean. And we do have a couple replays for you.
I think if I had to give any other MVPs, it would go to Nothing, and to even Bard, just playing very solidly into this, but just nothing on this Winston. And Quayu just helping out right in the backline with Luster, even just holding a really solid backline. You can see Bard trying their best to keep everyone alive here. Not quite able to stop that pulse bomb going into both of them. Really unfortunate for them. I mean, and there's Luster on the Genji, just especially last fight, just able to go into that backline, get those important picks, especially onto Lemon, and just clean up. Clean sweep overall.
And cheers
absolutely amazing.
From the fans in the arena. A good solid performance by University of Notts.
See Lemon there. Really great atmosphere in the arena today.
What a performance by Uni of Notts, and credit to NTU, who fought hard and valiantly, but Uni of Notts were the winners. Now, if I'd like to say, could I get some of the Uni of Notts players on stage for a quick post-match interview? Fantastic. I mean, Quayu, fantastic. I mean, really just an excellent performance. What worked well for you today?
Well, we were just playing with team comps we already come with. You know, we planned out more or less what comps we wanted to play on each map and whatnot. The ball ban in Varsity kind of hit us a bit. I think you saw that in a few of the points, but overall we were just we didn't get that much practice in, but we got like the comps down. That was all we were looking after.
Fantastic. I mean, obviously, like you said, there was a bit of a large audience. UoN fans are there. They've been cheering you on all game. How did you cope with that pressure to perform in front of these amazing fans?
I didn't really. I was a bit nervous, can't lie, but you know, yeah, well, it worked out in the end. So, thank you for coming here, everybody.
Fantastic. Now, winning this match, there are 3 other Uni of Notts teams left to play in this tournament. Obviously, Valorant, Marvel Rivals, and League of Legends. Any advice, words of encouragement you'd like to say to them?
Not really, I can't lie. I don't play any of those games, I can't lie. I play a little bit of Valorant, I guess, but make sure you get those IEMs plugged in very well. They can fall out sometimes mid-game, it's a bit annoying, but other than that, just go for it.
Fantastic, thank you so much. Your champions, Uni of Notts.
I've been counting days to get away, to see you again, been fighting ways.
Okay, so we do have shortly at around 3 o'clock our Valorant match coming up. So if you'd like to go upstairs, grab yourself well, we have a fine range of paninis. Our paninis are fantastic. But if you'd like to go upstairs and grab yourself a drink and some food, so please do join us back at 3 o'clock for some Valorant. We'll see you shortly.
And I've been counting